Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to go over the beast tier lists and explain why some beasts are at meta defining, some are at whale defining, some are not that impactful and some are just strong but the game mode they're in is just simply not worthy of investment, and some are just ineffective, aka not worth spending money on. So the first pet is going to be the ape. You have probably heard about the ape. The ape is just simply the strongest pet in the game and he makes PvP like a dream come true when he is on your team and the enemy doesn't have him, simply because of this effect right here. So in World Arena, Foggy Colosseum and tournament battles there is 50% chance to trigger Earthshake's protection, which negates damage before taking any damage. So this is like your most safest pet you can invest in. It starts at 3 stars and gets far better at 5 stars, or rather more reliable. And at 10 stars it's not really justified investment because of the defense and damage reduction it gives, which I consider to be fake. So yeah, overall his peak is at 9 stars, whereas someone like Phoenix can actually peak at 10 stars, which is going to be our next talk. So the Phoenix is a pet that basically gives your team an execute on all of your teams. So if you're playing tournament with 10 teams, all of your 10 teams will gain execute at 35% enemy HP. So whether you are just using a glass cannon team or just running a tank team, they will still be available to execute enemies, and this is a very strong effect. The issue is it's kind of hard to justify getting Phoenix over the Ape because Ape can block the damage and therefore you will never go to the execute threshold. So Phoenix is just second in the tier when it comes to the PvP game mode, so therefore the Ape is just superior. And the way that Phoenix works is at 9 stars it actually gets to counter Monarchs in a way, because Monarchs can still take damage but not that much. At 9 stars it actually becomes a viable way to kill these Monarchs. So that's why it's actually very important. If your enemies runs 5 or 4 monarchs, it will be way harder to kill them. But with Phoenix, he kind of makes the monarchs be less meta than they were before. On top of the devs not really releasing any new monarchs for like 3 or 4 seasons now. And the 10-star upgrade is increasing your attack, max HP and damage boost by 70%, which is really good. So I'm kind of working my way to 10-star Phoenix as well. Not to mention that Kronos should be a counter to Phoenix by increasing the threshold by 50% or something. I'm not entirely sure how that will work, but it's going to be a counter to Phoenix apparently. So yeah, that's it when it comes to the PvP beasts. If you're not sure who to spend on, here are the better view on them. So the first beast you should be spending on if you're a whale or free-to-play player that is trying to pivot into the PvP, you should be getting your Ape to 3 stars. That's my opinion. Ape to 3 stars, so you have some chances to block enemies damage. Then you would go for the Phoenix 3 stars, so you have some chance to actually execute enemies. And when it comes to the Fox is actually right here, which is Whaler Investments, but Fox is not that good because there's ways to actually increase the final damage, which I have shown in the Fox review video. So you will go and watch that and you will see that Fox is actually not that worthy of an investment, but you will still want her if you're a whale, because simply just the base stats because of this additional damage reduction, which is not big but it's kind of impactful, still matters. So if you're a whale like me, you will want her at 9 stars as fast as possible. And no, she's not worthy to get to 10 stars unlike Phoenix because she shares the same passive with the Ape. So yeah, that's my suggestion. Ape 3 stars, Phoenix 3 stars, Ape to 9 stars, Phoenix to 9 stars, and then only on the Fox. That's my review and suggestion on the PvP beasts. Now the next beast we are going to cover is the Rift Odyssey beast, but first let me talk about the non-legendary beasts. So this is just a suggestion on how to work towards them and which ones to focus. You shouldn't be spending money on them, and I'm pretty sure you can't even spend money on them, so it's just a like strength tier list for the non-legendary beasts. So you will always want to work towards your Rift Odyssey beast first, then the PvP ones, then the tomb ones, and then everything else, because the everything else is kind of irrelevant, just like the Skyhawk pet, because the Primeval Realm and Sacred Gambit are not really hard game modes to make investing into these pets actually be worth it, so therefore they're really irrelevant, aka they're very ineffective beasts. when it comes to spending either money or diamonds on. So that's covered the ineffective tier list. But yeah, let's go back to the Odyssey tier list, or rather Rift Odyssey. The first pet is going to be Cerberus. You can make Cerberus from the free shops, you can make him from the free shards in the Sacred Gambit. You can make up to 160 shards of him, I believe, per season, on top of additional shards from the shops, which should be about 180 per season as well, I believe, from the shop. So you can get your Cerberus up to 10 stars relatively fast. Probably by the same time that you actually start to struggle in the extreme difficulty, which should greatly ease up your journey in there. So Cerberus, you will need to have 9 or 10 stars really to beat extreme 100, that's his key requirement. Should you spend diamonds on him? I would say no, just because he's viable in the 2 shops already and might be even viable in more shops later on. So therefore, my suggestion is not to spend diamonds on him. When it comes to the Peacock, I believe he's fully useless. I don't know anyone that actually spent on him and is just happy with it, so I don't think Peacock is really relevant. And Hydra is really good, especially at 6 stars, so I do believe that spending diamonds on Hydra could be justified twice per season, but I'm not going to guarantee it, so it's up to you really. But definitely don't spend diamonds on Cerberus, rather get him from free. And if you're not someone who does PvP but only cares about Rift Odyssey, then I guess start on your Hydra to 6 stars to have him viable for the extreme 100 difficulty, or even 7 stars. So yeah, that's my guide for the Rift Odyssey. Don't get the Peacock, get the Cerberus for free and spend on the Hydra if you do not care about the PvP. In my opinion, PvP spending is slightly more justifiable because it makes a whole lot of difference, whereas in PvE, in Rift Odyssey, you can just simply spend on the new hero to 9 stars and beat Rift Odyssey without any issues, and without having to invest into their beasts. So yeah, that's why I have Hydra in the Whaler investments. I don't think it's necessary because only with Cerberus you're able to clear Extreme 100, but Hydra definitely helps, especially in my case. I did it without the seasonal hero and I did use Hydra, so she's definitely usable, but as I said, it's mostly for the whale investments. The same goes for the Fox. As I said, the Fox is great, but it's no better than these two, all the beasts. So yeah, overall just mostly for the whales to spend on. The next beasts are going to be these 3 beasts, so they're really strong, but the issue is they're in the game mode that doesn't really matter. The horse is not actually strong, the horse is basically the 9-tailed fox, but for the Clash Domain, Holy Grail War and Stellar Battles, so this beast is pretty much the same as that one. But the Astral Dragon is easy to get, never spend anything on it, and it's really impactful. It's basically a phoenix. And then we have the Serpent of Desire, which is basically ape, so it's kind of worth spending on. The issue is it's in a game mode that doesn't really matter. So these game modes are really irrelevant and don't contribute much to your reward, so therefore it's hard to justify spending on them. So yeah, that's my suggestion. Don't spend anything on this, but work on the Astral Dragon for free. And hopefully someday the Serpent becomes also for free, because it's basically ape and it's really strong. As you can see, the Fallen Protection negates damage before taking any damage. It's basically ape. Just hard to justify investing because the game mode is simply bad. Then we have the not that impactful, which I have mentioned, the Peacock and the Horse. The Horse is the 9-tailed fox, and Peacock is not irrelevant because nobody really needed them yet. So yeah, overall not really needed. Then we have the Dragon Beasts, which are kind of irrelevant, but also relevant at the same time. I have gotten my Shadow Tiger for free completely from the shards and in the shops. And I can say this Dragon at 6 stars I feel will make a bit of difference, because you will be able to 2-shot the dragons in the Clash Domain. So I believe it will make a bit of difference by allowing you to kill more dragons than the enemy teams, aka have higher chances of actually beating them in the Dragon War. So I think at 6 stars this pet will make a difference, but I don't have it just yet. I'm missing like 2 or 3 shards for it. But so far at the 1% increase it doesn't do anything, because you're damaging boss for 48% damage. But at 2 stars it will be 2-shotting the dragons, so overall it should be a great boost, but we will see how it goes. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the beasts. This was a relatively short video, I hope. As I said, for the spenders, get your ape, get your phoenix, don't spend on Serb, get it for free. Get your fox if you have maxed out these two and are doing PvP regularly, spending regularly. Get your fox up. Get your dragon up, or rather the hydra if you're a spender or a free-to-play player that doesn't care about PvP like at all. You will not regret it later unless you come back to do PvP for some reason. Then you will probably regret getting Hydra over these two pets that are just absolutely insane. And for the epics, just work on them this way that I have ordered, and that's pretty much it. Nothing much to talk about them. They're nice, they're usable, but the main ones are for the Rift Odyssey. Everything else is a side quest. So yeah, thank you for watching and good luck in your journeys, good luck in your beast summons. Hopefully you have understood the beasts a bit more. To recap, as I said, Ape to 3 stars, Phoenix to 3 stars, Ape to 9 stars, Phoenix to 9 stars, then work on your Fox for the PvP. Rift Odyssey, get Cerberus for free, spend diamonds on the Hydra if you want, not a suggestion. Keep the Peacock entirely. For the Tombs treasures, don't spend on anything, all of these beasts are useless for you. For the Exploration beast in the Primeval Realm and Sacred Gambit, don't spend anything, they're completely useless. For the Clash domain, these beasts are pretty much as good as the PvP beasts, aka they're all similar to them. The issue is PvP game modes are far more rewarding and far more fun than the Clash domain ones. So yeah, unfortunately they're good, would be justified to spend on if the rewards were slightly better or if the PvP was more interactive. And then the Dragon Beast, as I said, work on the Tiger from the free shop, and everything else you can simply ignore because they don't make much of a difference. Thank you for watching and see you guys in the next one.